Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding today's hearing, and congratulations on taking over the gavel as chairman of this committee. We've had the opportunity to work together in the past very well, and I look forward to working with you over this coming session to address the needs of small businesses. I also want to recognize the new members of the committee, Senator Duckworth on the Democratic side, and on the Republican side, Senators Inhofe, Young, and Rounds. Welcome to this committee. I think you will find that this is a committee that works in a very strong bipartisan way to address the concerns of small businesses, so I look forward to continuing to do that. I'm also very pleased to welcome Linda McMahon, who is President Trump's nominee to head the Small Business Administration. I appreciated the opportunity to meet with you and to hear your passion for the work that small businesses do. You know, I got on this committee in 2008 after I got elected to the Senate because small business is such a concern for New Hampshire. 96% of our employers in New Hampshire are considered small businesses, and they're not just important to New Hampshire and to so many of the states represented on this committee, but they're the engine of the economy that drives this nation. 2 out of every 3 jobs that are created from small businesses. They're also leaders when it comes to innovation. They produce, and this is a statistic that's one of my favorites, they produce 14 times more patents than large businesses. I'm not sure that most people appreciate the innovation that occurs in our small businesses. But unfortunately, unlike big business, our small businesses have not yet fully recovered from the Great Recession. For example, according to a Harvard Business School analysis, small business loans have dropped by 20% since the financial crisis, while lending to large firms has increased by 4%. That's why SBA and its programs are so critical. Last year alone, the SBA backed more than 70,000 loans to small businesses, supporting $29 billion in lending and nearly 700,000 jobs. The SBA also helped small businesses win more than $90 billion in federal contracts and provided counseling to more than 1 million entrepreneurs. But of course, there's more work to be done, and that's why you're here, Mrs. McMahon. So I know that you share those goals and values for what we need to support small business in this economy, and I look forward to hearing your statement today and your response to questions. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your statement, Mrs. McMahon. I know we discussed this issue when you came to visit me, but I think it's important to give you an opportunity to address it in the committee because you have been quoted as saying that you supported merging the SBA into the Department of Commerce. That proposal has been a major concern for businesses in my home state who believe their voice in Washington is already not loud enough. And so I wonder if you could clarify your position and whether you believe SBA should continue as a standalone agency or whether you think it should be merged into another agency.
Thank you very much, Ranking Member Shaheen, for the question and the opportunity to clarify. When I was running for the Senate in Connecticut, I was a strong advocate for reducing duplicative programs. And as part of my campaign, I talked about the list every year that the GAO puts out of duplicative programs. During that time, President Obama had indicated that he was looking to merging some of the agencies. When I was asked if I supported merging SBA into Commerce, I really wasn't focused on SBA or Commerce. I was focused on the concept of merging agencies or reducing duplicative programs so that we could reduce those costs. I am a firm believer that SBA needs to be a standalone agency. I'm very proud that President Trump has kept it as a cabinet post, and I intend to serve my full term and execute as well as I can to advocate on behalf of small businesses.
Well, thank you very much for clarifying that. In New Hampshire, SBA has made significant progress over the past 4 years, and we've seen growth in both lending and government contracting. And to some extent, this has been because of the work of so many of SBA's resource partners, so the Small Business Development Centers, the Women's Business Center, SCORE, Volunteer Mentors, Veterans Business Outreach Centers, and district offices. And I think these partners are really critical to the mission of SBA in helping small businesses. So as administrator, how would you identify opportunities to maximize SBA's resource partners and provide adequate funding for their staffing and programs?
Well, first of all, I look forward to going to our different districts and our different regions and meeting with those SBA members, the leaders and the managers in those offices to hear about what programs are working, what programs are not. I don't have a working knowledge today of how successful those programs have been, except to note that from you have seen that success and many of the other members that I've talked to. So I would want to continue to encourage our outreach. My former company, WWE, we were always concerned about veterans and the returning veterans and how to have jobs. And WWE is part of Hire a Veterans program, so that veteran aspect of helping them create jobs. As I've already stated, I've been very forthcoming and wanting women entrepreneurship to grow and continue to support that. It's very near and dear to my heart. So I will continue that outreach with all of our different organizations and continue to mentor through the women's centers as well.
Thank you. I'm pleased to hear that, and I know the resource partners in New Hampshire and across the country will be very pleased to hear that as well. As we discussed in our meeting, one of the most important ways SBA can help small business is by making sure they have access to federal contracting. And Senator Murphy mentioned in his introduction that we saw for the first time last year that SBA, or that women small business owners had reached 5% in terms of access to federal contracts. So it's a milestone, but a very slow start to what we need to do more of. And so I wonder if you could talk about how you plan to work with federal agencies to increase small business opportunities for federal contracts.
I would first like to fully understand, what those projects are and how we can best fit, the businesses to those contracts. I think that in terms of the prime contracts and the subcontracts, we need to make sure that we've got that adequate representation for that growth. And so I would want to make sure that our businesses have the right outreach, the right advocates in those markets. And that's what I would focus on, is trying to make sure we have those right advocates.
Thank you. My time is up, but I just wanted to make a point, Mr. Chairman, of announcing that I'm going to enter a question into the record on behalf of Congresswoman Nydia Velazquez, who is the ranking member of this House Small Business Committee, and it relates to the ongoing situation in Puerto Rico. It's something, again, that you and I discussed when we met Mrs. McMahon. So I will be submitting that for the record.
Thank you very much.